All right, and welcome to my vlog. I'm going to do an interview here. We're talking about assistive technology this week in our class. And I got to thinking, well, I know we have an expert in our school, and her name is Miss Brenda Schmidt. She's our LRP, our learning resource person, or is that what your title is, Miss Schmidt?
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Awesome. And I just thought I'd ask her a couple of questions about how we use assistive technology in our school. So the first question I'd like to ask is uh, how do teachers find out about how students need to use like assistive technologies? Like, do they look at their ROA recommendations? How does that kind of go about?
Yeah, so all of our students that would require assistive technology would have a record of adaptation for. And so I email those out to teachers, but specifically if there are technology requirements, I usually talk to the teachers face to face about it so they kind of have a better understanding of what's actually required with that technology. So they have a better understanding of how to be able to use it in their classrooms with those students.
Really cool. So do you get with that, does that follow them from elementary school up to high school, or is that something you have to assess every year, or how do you find out what the kids need?
Yeah, so usually those ROAs follow them from elementary school. Personally, in a high school, I've never just put a student on assistive technology. That's usually coming from the elementary school because this is something that they've needed for the majority of their school career, right? So we have the transition meetings with the grade 8 teachers in the springtime. And that is usually where I'm made aware of if the child has assistive technology. Unfortunately, the technology doesn't come with them when they come to high school. So then it's up to us to find a way to provide that technology for them. So usually what we do here is we have extra laptops in the office that the students can sign out if they're not in a room with a connected educator.
Right. Excellent. Yeah, I'm lucky to be in a connected educator, and I've noticed a lot of students. Actually, one student I want to interview, I know the computer helps him out a lot too. What about even classroom equipment and stuff too? What are some things that you see a lot, or you suggest people kind of maybe use in terms of either classroom seating arrangements, or even just kind of some low tech things too? Is that maybe that you notice?
Yeah, one thing I love about our school division that we just got last year were those every classroom now has those microphones, those FM systems, right? With
Oh, the
that new,
TOAs. Yeah, yeah. I was gonna.
yeah, with the new phones that we got. That's huge. So especially for kids who have auditory processing, to have that microphone, I really encourage teachers to use those even if they don't have students that need them because I mean, I just feel like they just help so many ways, and not just the kids who have auditory processing, but even kids who have ADHD and like slower processing, like that increase in volume can just really help with the background noise that kids might be more triggered to like focus on instead of the teacher. Also, we, have pretty good principal here who like will get us more things for classrooms like the standing desks or those hokey chairs or the excuse me, the rocking chairs, those types of classroom seating adaptations. Like, well, I teach tutorials, so I have a lot of the kids who are at risk, and they love the variety of seating in my classroom that they can choose if they want to sit on a rocking chair or if they want to sit on one of the higher chairs that I have. And I've had kids in my math class utilize the standing desk at the back of the room. So we actually have a lot of kids in the school who love the standing desks.
No, that's perfect. So with this, do you think there's enough awareness and or training for teachers to help students when it comes to assistive technology?
Yes and no. Um, well, you know how I always do a presentation at the beginning of every school year. Tracy allows me to do my little 10-minute spiel on adaptations and modifying programming and those types of things. But, I don't think that my 10-minute little speech that I get once a year to inform teachers is really enough for them. I always say that all school teachers should have to spend at least a year or two doing LRT so that they understand like how deep adaptations can actually go. And so I would love to bring more awareness to teachers and help train teachers a little bit more on adaptations. But also in saying that, though, I feel like, especially here at O'Neill, we have a really great group of people that when I do talk about adaptations, I honestly feel for the most part, the teachers are actually respecting that and they are trying their best with the students.
Awesome. No, that's great. So speaking of training, I know we were when we were prepping for this call, and that you had mentioned that you went to a workshop or you received some training last week. Can you delve into that a little bit?
Oh yeah, so you had also asked about my training for assistive technology, and I had mentioned that on Wednesday. It was funny that you had actually just brought that up because I was just literally in an in-service, a Teams meeting like this with all the LRs in Regina Catholic. So elementary and high school LRs were took this. It was a training on like immersive reader with OneNote and Dictate with Microsoft Word, and just using that speech to text and text to speech programming. Kids can utilize that. Yeah.
Actually, it's cool with all Microsoft products have that. Actually, I'm going to kind of focus my other blog part of my blog around that too. So it's very serendipitous for sure. Yeah. So what did you gain out of that? What did you notice that was really cool?
Well, I always find it neat that those are out there, like those types of adaptations are being now just built into programs. I think that it's good that the people who are making these programs are aware that there are students out there who need these types of adaptations to help them be successful in school. So it's nice that, because back when I first started 15 years ago, it like you had to use like Dragon Naturally Speaking program, and it was a very hard program to train your voice to, and it wasn't very smooth. Whereas now they seem to be pretty smooth sailing type of programs. And actually, our RTI coordinator did ask for some feedback from the high school LRs. And, I said, like, these are really good programs for us to know about as high school teachers. But unfortunately, like when kids get to high school, like they're not really as willing to use these programs as they are in elementary school. And I think it's just a more of an insecurity thing, because now they're not really in that safety net of these kids that they've been with for 8 years who kind of get like, oh, Johnny is the one who uses his headphones and sits in the corner and reads out loud or listens to on the computer. Because like now they're with like 7 other feeder schools and mixed in with all these other random people that they really don't know. And so it's kind of like starting that insecurity stage all over again. So, I have trained a few students to use the immersive reader, but, we don't get very many students who actually want to use it in the high school level. Plus, high school is kind of a game changer for kids. Like, it's not the generic type classrooms as in elementary school. Like, I feel like they are, there's just so much more going on that kids seem to be able to thrive more in high school.
Yeah. No, you make a really good point. Yeah, kind of answer my next question was really good. But also too, do you think kids feel labeled like, your high school, there's, whether we like it or not, there's a lot of things going on with, what is Johnny doing in terms of that? And there might be some peer pressure or social pressure. Do you find that as well?
I think that kids are kids, and I think that they're actually, I think the problem is that everyone's so self-absorbed nowadays and so self-centered that they're actually more focused on themselves, and they don't actually care what Johnny's doing beside them, but Johnny's insecure thinking that everyone's staring at him. But right. Really, I think that kids just care about themselves and care about what they're doing, and they're so wrapped up in their own insecurities that they're not actually paying attention to the other kids. And so I think that if someone actually really needed to use them, and it was done in a really like mild way where kids wouldn't even notice.
Right. I guess with that then too, we talked about, teachers, administration, and students. What about the other stakeholders, the parents? How do you think the parents, where are their take on it? Are they pushing it? Are they kind of leaning back? Or what have been some of your parent experiences?
Yeah, usually the parents that I deal with are amazing. They're always so supportive. They want the best for their child, and and that's what I'm here for. Like, I'm a student services teacher, not a teachers. Like, I'm here to support the students, right? And that's why I'm their advocate. I'm here to advocate for their child when they're not. And so, teacher or parents respect that, and they like we work together as a team. And so they do, for the most part, they'll do what they have to do at home, and we do what we have to here. And I've never really encountered a negative experience with parents.
Yeah. Do you think some of the assistive technologies, does that price ever become a barrier? Like, is there ever something like they could use this, but maybe somebody can't afford it and the kids can't get what they need? Have you ever run into that situation?
Yeah, I mean, there's always those types of situations, right? And then that's where, when you have a supportive admin team and a supportive like school division, we can work together to try to get those technologies out to those kids, right? So for example, like in elementary school, I believe the school divisions provide them with their own assistive technology, but here, when they come here and they don't have it, like our admin has set aside so many laptops so that these kids can get that assistive technology when they're at school. Unfortunately, they don't get to take it home, but we have in the past made special arrangements for if a kid really needs a laptop to finish an assignment, they would allow it to be signed out for the weekend or something. But usually our kids that need this, they're in a tutorial. So tutorials are those 1 hour work periods that kids get. Usually we try to have these kids in a tutorial so that they can get all their work done in school time so that they don't have to stress about it when they're out of school.
That makes sense. No, this has been fantastic. You really enlightened me. I know you do a fantastic job, and I really appreciate you taking some time out of your day to share this with me so I could share with my classmates. It's a very important topic, and I just wanted to give you a chance. Is there any last, kind of last comments you want to make, or something maybe we didn't talk about that, or a message you'd like to say to somebody that might be watching about assistive technology?
Like the only thing really is if you're a classroom teacher and your LR comes to you with an ROA, just if there's anything you don't understand ROA, please ask them to explain it to you so that you know exactly what you need to do. And also when you get the ROAs, take them serious and actually look through them and see what it is that you can do to help improve that student's learning experience in your classroom, right? Because we want them all to be, this isn't meant to be more work for a teacher. It's supposed to help build success for that student, right? And let's get them
Right.
to their grade 12. And so, yeah,
Well, that's an
they,
interesting thing that you say because, some people might think they're cheating, right? Or it's the integrity of the assignment or the test. So I really like what you're saying there.
yeah. Thanks so much for having me, though. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, this has been fabulous. Thanks a lot. Again, this has been Assistive Technology today with Dean and Brenda. Thanks for listening. And Ms. Schmidt, you have a beautiful day
Thanks, you too,
and
buddy.
stay classy out there.
Bye.
Right. Thank you. That's perfect.